Let's freaking go. Hey friends, what's up? It's Maisie with Barbecue by Maisie, but today I'm here for a delightful episode of Pit Boss Backyard Bosses. Aren't they all? Round of applause for Pit Boss Backyard Bosses. So make sure you subscribe right now. Go ahead, I'll wait. You can also follow me over on Barbecue by Maisie if your heart desires. All right, let's jump in to the good stuff. Today I've got a classic barbecue recipe for you. We're making chuck roast burnt ends. I'm going to walk you through step by step of this very simple process to make these delicious little barbecue morsels. I am smoking it on my Pro Series today, and yeah, let's just dive right in and get to prepping our chuck roast. All right, what you can see here is I've got a beautiful 3.5 pound chuck roast. When I'm at the store, I'm looking for a chuck roast that has some fat marbled into it, but you also don't want huge pockets of fat because you still want the meat. So just look for a perfect chuck roast. I like to shoot for about 2.5 to 3.5 pounds for this cook. Today I am using mustard as a binder. You really don't need a binder. The moistness of the meat will allow the rub to stick to it just fine, but you know what? I was just feeling like getting a little saucy in this video. All right, so you're gonna slather up your chuck roast. First, we're starting with the Pit Boss Competition Barbecue Rub. It's got beautiful color and it's got amazing flavor. It goes great on beef, so it was just really a no-brainer for this cook today. Then my secret weapon when it comes to beef, I like to hit it with the smoked salt and pepper rub from Pit Boss. Look at the large grains of salt in here. The pepper is beautiful. It smells insane. I just like to layer it with that peppery flavor on the beef. It gives the bark such an immaculate flavor. Get myself all worked up here. This is gonna be some good chuck roast. And we're just gonna let our meat sit and rest here for a second while we get our Pit Boss brought up to temperature. Today we are gonna be smoking at the perfect 250 degrees. All right, our smoker is up to temp, so I am putting the chuck roast on the left side of the smoker, and the Pit Boss, the burn pot, is right in the middle. I don't like to put it right over the main heat source, so I always go to the left or to the right when I am smoking something low and slow. All right, guys, now that our meat is on the smoker, that was the hard part. Now we just get to sit back and relax. I'm gonna leave this on here for about 3 hours before I even check it. I expect the cook to at least take 3 hours, possibly up to 4, until we get to our next step. What we're doing at this portion is we're letting our meat build up a nice bark. We also want to achieve about a temperature of about 165 before we move on to the next step. So we're looking for nice bark and internal temperature of 165-ish. All right, gang, guess what? Our chuck roast is ready for the next step. It took about 3.5 hours to get to this point. Remember, I have a 3.5 pound chuck roast, so your cook times are going to vary depending on the size of your meat. Let's go ahead and pull our meat off the smoker onto a cutting board. I got my nice Pit Boss knife here. All we're going to do now is cube up our meat into nice about 1.5 inch size chunks. At this part of the cook, as I'm cutting it, if I see a large pocket of fat, I'll just trim around it and get the nice good pieces of meat. As you can see, we got beautiful color on this bark. It's got great texture. All right, now that we have our meat cubed up, we're gonna go ahead and put it into a foil pan, and then we are going to get some butter, barbecue sauce, and brown sugar. We're entering the braising portion of the cook. All right, you can do about a 1/4 cup of each, or you can just measure with your heart. All right, we're gonna mix that up and get our foil pan covered tightly with some foil, and we're gonna put it back in the Pit Boss Pro Series, again on the left side, and I'm bumping the temperature up to 275. So I will come back out and check on these burn ends in about 90 minutes.
That looks amazing. All right, but what we're really here for is to get a little tenderness check. So we're just gonna get a little chunk here. Let's go with this guy right here in the middle that's been saucy and glossy. Oh my god. Okay. That was what we would call little to no resistance. Let's try this guy. Yeah, these bad boys are done. Oh my gosh. You guys. These look amazing. They smell amazing. So all we're going to do now to finish up this cook, remove the foil from the pan. I cranked up the temperature to 350. It's about time to pull these off and give one a little taste. I already have this feeling in my bones that it's going to be delicious just because it smells insane right now. Look at that. Hot. Oh my gosh. Woo! That's a good burnt end. You gotta go make this. I'm begging you. Alright, that was a super tasty burnt end. This cook is so easy, anybody can do it. From top to bottom, it took me about 5.5 hours-ish. Appreciate you guys so much for hanging around another episode of Pit Boss Backyard Bosses. Remember to punch that subscribe button, like this video, leave me a dope comment so Pit Boss knows you want to see me back. The crowd chants, "We want Maisie. We want Maisie."